This woman has a fatal heart condition and only 3 months to live. But to save herself, she had to sell her body to a powerful CEO. She walked into the room and immediately found the CEO clutching his chest in pain. She told him she was the clean girl he was looking for. The CEO just shouted at her to get out. She pleaded, saying she desperately needed the money. Suddenly, the CEO grabbed her. He demanded she look at him closely. The woman revealed she has face blindness. At that moment, the CEO declared, "I am your fiancé." The woman was shocked. She realized he was the man from her arranged marriage, but she was a fake heiress, already kicked out of her family. She immediately tried to leave. Just then, the CEO pulled her back. He accused her of selling herself to any man for money. Before she could deny it, he immediately kissed her, calling it her punishment. The next second, he pushed her away and ordered her to run his bath. In the bathroom, the CEO was in agony. Unexpectedly, he revealed he had been drugged. The woman offered to help him. The CEO just screamed at her to get out. She left the room, her heart breaking. At that moment, she remembered her family's cruelty. Her sister called her a liar. Her mother disowned her. Her father threw her out, telling her to die far away. Tears streamed down her face, but she refused to die. Immediately, she stormed back into the bathroom and kissed the CEO. Just then, he stopped her. He gave her a choice: be his fiancée, or take the $500,000 she needed for surgery. Without hesitation, the woman chose the money. The next morning, she woke up alone in the bed. She found a bank card left for her. She had saved her own life. She immediately left the hotel and got into a taxi. But unexpectedly, the CEO was watching from his car. He ordered his assistant to follow her. At the hospital, the woman paid the surgery fee. But the doctor suddenly told her she had to wait a month. At that moment, he revealed another devastating truth. She would need expensive medicine for 2 years, costing more than 1 million yuan. The woman stared in shock, her hope shattered. This woman just paid for her life-saving surgery. But the next second, her cruel sister appeared to ruin everything. The sister immediately mocked her, announcing she was about to marry the woman's fiancé, the powerful CEO. She snatched the woman's payment receipt and was shocked by the amount. At that moment, she accused the woman of stealing the money from their family. The woman denied it, but suddenly, her heart condition flared up and she collapsed in pain. The sister just sneered. She noticed the marks on the woman's neck and immediately understood. She tore the precious receipt to shreds. Just then, she dragged the woman to her feet, shouting for everyone to see. She accused her of selling her body to a strange man. Immediately, the crowd turned on the woman, calling her shameless. They saw the marks on her neck and started taking videos to expose her online. The woman cried that it wasn't true, but no one listened. The sister grabbed her arm, ready to strike, screaming that she would teach her a lesson. But at that moment, a hand shot out and stopped her. It was the CEO. He threw the sister to the ground. The sister furiously asked who he was. The CEO coldly declared, "I'm the strange man you're talking about." The sister was stunned. She immediately threatened him, boasting that she was the real heiress and his future wife. Unexpectedly, the CEO slapped her hard across the face. He ordered his assistant to handle the crowd and delete all the videos. The next second, he took the woman's hand and led her away. He told her to get in the car. When she asked where they were going, he simply said, "My home." The CEO brought the woman he saved back to his mansion. But instead of comforting her, he coldly tossed a first aid kit on the table. The woman refused his help, but he immediately grabbed her hand. He accused her of trying to stay the night. She denied it, but unexpectedly, he knelt down and gently treated the wound on her knee. The woman thanked him and immediately left. Just then, the CEO's phone rang. His assistant delivered a shocking report. The woman was a fake heiress, kicked out by her family with no money. At that moment, the assistant revealed the most devastating secret. She has a fatal heart condition and needs millions for treatment. The CEO was stunned. Meanwhile, the woman was stranded alone on a dark street. She collapsed in despair, ready to die. Suddenly, a luxury car pulled up. It was the CEO. He immediately ordered her into the car and drove her home. The next day, the woman got an unexpected call. She had landed a dream job at the CEO's company. On her first day, her friend revealed a huge secret. The CEO was now personally managing their department. At that moment, the CEO walked in. The woman froze in shock. He pretended not to know her and immediately challenged her, assigning her a major project in front of everyone. In his office, the CEO looked at her employee file. He asked his assistant one chilling question: how did a woman with a heart condition pass the company physical? The CEO discovered his new employee faked her physical exam. But the next second, his assistant revealed she did it because she needs immediate surgery for her heart. At that moment, the CEO made a shocking decision. He immediately canceled all overtime, ordering everyone to leave work by 8 p.m. Later that night, he found the woman still at her desk. He immediately walked over and saw her design. He asked her about it, and she brilliantly explained her creative choices. The CEO was impressed. Just then, he announced he was hungry and demanded she treat him to a late-night meal. She reluctantly agreed, but unexpectedly, 2 thugs were watching them from a balcony, holding her photo. After dinner, the woman walked home alone. Suddenly, the thugs ambushed her, armed with baseball bats. They grabbed her and covered her mouth. Just as they were about to drag her away, a luxury car screeched to a halt in front of them. The CEO immediately stepped out. The thugs warned him to stay away, but the next second, he single-handedly fought them all off. The thug leader threatened him again, but the CEO just grabbed a bat and immediately beat him until he confessed. At that moment, the thug revealed the shocking truth. Her own sister had hired them. The CEO threw the thugs out. Just then, the woman noticed blood dripping from his hand. He was injured. She wanted to take him to the hospital, but he immediately refused. He said, "Take me to your home. You can bandage me there." This woman was bandaging the CEO she had just saved, but he immediately told her she was still his fiancée. The woman insisted she was a fake heiress with no right to marry him. The CEO just declared that unless he personally broke the engagement, she was his wife. At that moment, she accidentally hurt him and apologized. She revealed her parents forced her to say sorry 100 times for any mistake. The CEO immediately made a new rule. Every sorry would cost her 100 yuan. Just then, she said it again and protested the unfair fine. He smiled, telling her to show her anger more often. Unexpectedly, she burst into tears, begging him not to take her money. He immediately relented. Suddenly, a furious banging came from the door. It was her cruel sister, screaming that she knew the woman was hiding a man. The woman panicked, but the CEO just calmly put on his shirt. He immediately called his assistant and said, "Bring everyone." Just then, the sister threatened to break down the door. The CEO simply told the woman, "I've got this." He opened the door. The sister and her thugs stormed in, but stopped dead when they saw him. Before she could attack, the CEO's assistant and an army of men in black suits suddenly appeared behind him. The sister was speechless. The CEO coldly declared she wasn't worthy of knowing who he was and immediately ordered his men to take them away. The next day at her new job, the woman's friend gave her an application for company housing. She was shocked, as it was only for senior staff. But at that moment, her friend revealed the CEO had personally changed the rules for new hires. Just then, the CEO's father called with shocking news. The engagement was with the fake heiress. Now he must marry the real one. This woman discovered she was the adopted daughter on the day her family met, her fiancé. Immediately, her parents announced her real sister would take her place in the marriage. Her father explained to the fiancé's family that the girl was not their biological child. The fiancé's father nodded, stating that powerful families must protect their bloodline. The girl's mother assured everyone she would not cause any trouble. At that moment, she turned to the girl and demanded she promise to behave. The two fathers agreed to proceed with the wedding, but with the real daughter as the bride. Just then, a man's voice shouted, "I disagree." Unexpectedly, the CEO walked in. He immediately went to the adopted daughter and sat beside her. The real daughter was shocked. The CEO looked at the real daughter and said, "I've met you before." The real daughter panicked. She immediately explained to her mother that it was all a misunderstanding. But the next second, the CEO revealed a shocking truth. "Last night," he declared, "you hired a group of men to beat me up." The room fell silent. The real daughter claimed she thought he was a bad man trying to hurt her sister. The mother quickly defended her, insisting she had a kind heart and was far superior to the adopted daughter. The CEO immediately rejected her. "I have absolutely no interest in this woman," he said coldly. The CEO's father exploded with anger. He ordered his son to marry the real daughter. Just then, the CEO turned to the adopted daughter. "Do you have any objections?" he asked. The girl looked down and said no. The next second, the CEO stood up. "Her opinion doesn't matter," he announced. "I refuse to marry anyone else." His father shouted that he would not allow his son to marry an imposter. But the CEO shot back, "Whoever I choose to marry is the true daughter of the family." He praised the adopted daughter for graduating from a top global university. Then he turned to the real daughter. "And which prestigious school did you graduate from?" The family was speechless. The father admitted the real daughter never had the chance to attend a good school. The CEO scoffed. He said the real daughter would only drag him down. At that moment, the mother suddenly had a new idea. She told the CEO their family's project needed a top designer, and her real daughter had studied design. Unexpectedly, the real daughter stood up and declared, "I am confident I can be your assistant." The CEO told the woman her real sister was worthless. At that moment, her father stood up and canceled the entire marriage alliance, but the CEO's father immediately stopped him. He revealed their families were business partners and the marriage must happen. The next second, he commanded the real daughter to start working at his company tomorrow. Just then, a maid announced lunch was served. The families walked to the dining room, leaving the adopted daughter behind. When she tried to leave, the CEO suddenly grabbed her arm. She explained her parents forbid her from eating with them. "You are not allowed to leave," he declared. Unexpectedly, he revealed the truth. "You are my fiancée, my employee, and my woman." The next second, he swept her into his arms. She begged him to put her down. He gave her an ultimatum. Join the family for lunch, or he would carry her. She immediately agreed. He put her down and led her to the dining table. The father saw her and exploded with rage. "Who told you to join us?" he shouted. The CEO calmly replied, "I did." He shamed the father for treating the girl he raised for 20 years like a stranger. The mother quickly lied, claiming they loved her like their own. She then accused the adopted daughter of poisoning the CEO's mind. The girl insisted she said nothing. But at that moment, the CEO dropped a bombshell. He revealed he knew they refused to pay her 500,000 surgery fee, nearly driving her to suicide. The entire family froze in shock. The real daughter immediately shouted that it was all lies. The CEO's father told him to stop making a scene. Just then, the CEO secretly sent the adopted daughter a text message. "If you fight back now," it read, "I will pay for all your medical bills." The real daughter continued to slander her, accusing her of secretly meeting the CEO. That was the final straw. The adopted daughter suddenly stood up. "I've had enough of you," she said to her sister. "Just sitting at the same table as you makes me sick." She immediately turned and walked out of the room. The CEO suddenly stood up to leave the family dinner. Immediately, his father yelled at him to stop, but the CEO walked out anyway. The next second, the CEO's father made a shocking decision. He ordered the real daughter to start working at his company the very next day. Later that night, the adopted daughter was crying at home when her phone rang. It was the CEO. He invited her out for a late-night snack. She lied and said she was sleeping. But at that moment she looked out the window and saw him standing outside. He ordered her to come down or he would dock her pay. She immediately rushed downstairs. At a restaurant, the CEO made her an offer. He would pay all her medical bills if she agreed to remain his fiancée. The adopted daughter admitted she was very sick and needed a lot of money. The CEO promised to give her anything she needed. Just then, she agreed. "I accept," she said, and they made a toast. The next day at the office, a manager announced the results of a design competition. Unexpectedly, the adopted daughter's design was chosen as the winner. The manager announced the prize was $100,000. At that moment, he introduced the new project director. The adopted daughter stared in horror as her sister walked in. The sister introduced herself as the new design director and the CEO's fiancée. The manager handed the winning design to the sister for review. She glanced at it and immediately declared, "This is garbage." A colleague suddenly stood up for the adopted daughter, saying everyone loved her work. The sister was furious. The next second, she made a final decision. "I declare this design is cancelled." Just then, a man appeared at the office door. It was the CEO. The CEO's fiancée tried to fire a new employee in front of the entire office. But unexpectedly, the CEO himself walked in to protect the girl. The fiancée became furious. She threatened to tell his father he was bullying her. The CEO completely ignored her. Instead, he leaned in and whispered to the girl, "Fight back." The girl immediately challenged the fiancé to a design duel. The loser would have to resign. The fiancé laughed and accepted, vowing to crush her. Later, the girl was working at her desk when her phone buzzed. It was a text from the CEO that said, "Well done." But at that moment, her phone rang again. It was her mother. The mother coldly ordered her to quit her job immediately, offering to pay her medical bills if she left the CEO. Suddenly, the mother hung up. The next second, the CEO appeared from behind and wrapped his arms around the girl. He pushed her against the kitchen counter. He demanded to know who was on the phone. The girl confessed that her mother tried to bribe her to leave. The CEO immediately told her he had rejected her application for a dorm room. He commanded her, "Tonight you come home with me." He then revealed a secret. He had hired the country's top heart surgeon just for her. The girl's eyes filled with tears, but they didn't know the fiancé was watching from the shadows, plotting her revenge.